Let's see if that's working now. So, not getting any audio. Are you guys getting audio? Hopefully somebody sees that and can tell me if the sound's working. I guess I can do this. There might be some feedback. So are we getting any... Hopefully somebody sees that and can tell me if the sound... Okay. It's evidently working. So, yeah. So anyways, some stuff that you can carry in your vehicle that... I don't know, I carry in mine. I got a tire plug kit and a little 18-volt compressor. Can really save your day if you need it. Let's see, what else do I carry? Some starting fluid. It's always a good thing to have in your vehicle. A blanket, a shovel. What do you guys carry in your vehicles that you can use for emergencies? So let's see, what else? Yeah, don't have any projects. Well, you got a project going on tonight, but not something for the stream. At least not for right now. Picked up a big old safe at a clean out a couple years ago, and I always wondered what was in it. And I found a locksmith willing to give it a try to see if he could get it open. He's over there working on it right now. So if he succeeds, you guys will get to see what's in it. Maybe. So that's interesting. Anybody else have anything interesting going on this week? It's been a pretty slow week. It's been cold. Had our first really cold night the other night. I think it was 13 below zero Fahrenheit, which is rather chilly. Miko didn't even want to be outside. He wanted to stay inside and be a lap dog. Those of you guys who haven't met Miko yet, he's my 150-pound 2-year-old Mastiff puppy. And I guess officially he's not really a puppy anymore. But just like kids, they'll always be kids. Dogs will always be puppies when you get them as a puppy. So since I got the locksmith here, or safe smith, what do you call yourself? He's in his kennel, so want to keep the people safe. So I was hoping 7 o'clock would work a little bit better, and so hopefully get a few more people in here and get a good conversation going. So I was informed I'm not supposed to berate people about lurking, which I guess that's up to you. If you want to lurk, that's fine. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit here and talk to myself, which I'm pretty good at. However, I usually do it in my head, not out loud, so people don't look at me strange. Of course, nowadays, people are walking around with their earbuds in, chatting away on their phone, so everybody's walking around talking to themselves. At least that's what it looks like to those of us who didn't grow up with a device attached to our ear. So I still can't get used to having the wireless earbuds and talking on the phone. It's just something I find strange. So, well, let's see. What else do we got going on this week? Usually I have a project going, and I just didn't have anything tonight. The project I was working on today is sitting over in the shop press curing, making some denim micarta for a Christmas gift. So, had to get that done, and of course there'll be a video on make how you make micarta. It's a pretty simple process. The hardest part is sourcing the materials. In this case, it was old blue jeans. Went to the Goodwill outlet store and picked up a couple of pounds of old blue jeans in different colors, and then cut them up into the right size, and then build a form and soak them in clear epoxy resin and put it in the old shop press and squeeze them tight and let it cure. So now we just have to wait for that to cure. So wouldn't have been something interesting to do in a live stream, I don't think. It'll look much better cutting up old blue jeans in a sped up version, because I know just doing it I was bored, and I was watching TV while I was doing it. So watching me do it, probably wouldn't have been any fun. However, I did learn something. If I ever, I've got more plans, I've got more epoxy, I am going to order one of those rotary cutters and a cutting mat, because cutting it with scissors, especially not the world's best scissors, I think I tried 3 different pairs and finally picked the best one, and those were boring. I mean, those were slow. So, so it made it for boring. Maybe with a good rotary cutter and zipping right along to cut them might be a little more interesting. But, if you're ever going to do that and cut up a lot of fabric into squares, get yourself a cutting mat, one of those self-healing ones, and a rotary cutter, and let her rip. I'm going to check the audio here again, so if it gets feedback, let me know. Matt, because cutting it with scissors, especially not the world's best scissors, I think I tried 3 different pairs and finally picked the best one, and those were boring. I mean, those are slow. Okay, seems to be working. Sorry about any feedback there, but it happens. Got to check it and see what's going on. So that's been my week. Just planning Christmas presents, doing some work, doing a little for clients, and dealing with the cold, which is never any fun. I don't mind it. It doesn't really bother me that much, but it's not the end of the world going out in the cold. As long as you're dressed for it, it's not too bad. Those of you from warmer climates, probably don't understand that, but it's not a big deal. So, look at my head shake. That's because I'm shaking my leg and it's bouncing my whole body. I think I'll try to stop that, because that's probably annoying. So I hope everybody's got their holiday plans all set, and time with the family and friends, and maybe doing some volunteering work. I actually get to dress up as Santa. Use this white beard for something other than keeping my neck warm. So I've got a Santa suit, and the white gloves just showed up today, evidently. That's what my phone said. And they're sitting on the front porch, and Got some fancy black boots coming that'll be here tomorrow, I believe. And then I get to dress up as Santa Claus and go do the Santa thing for some kids. So that sounds like fun, doesn't it? I think I mentioned last week that big local fan of the local college hockey team, and of course last night they lost. They didn't play well at all. So go Bulldogs. Anyhow, so that's what I got coming up, being Santa Claus, and working in the semi-cold. This upcoming week should be fun. I get to pull out a water heater, rebuild the floor underneath it, and put it back. And then when they originally set up the well for this place, they put the pressure tank, they set it on top of the water heater. So I got all the weight of the pressure tank sitting directly on the water heater, which is sitting directly on a particle board floor. And particle board floors underneath water heaters aren't a good idea to begin with, because they like to fall apart. And so going to be rebuilding that and putting that all back together. That's one day this week. And the same client just called me and told me that one of her toilets isn't working, and I'm guessing it's a frozen water line, so I'm going to have to figure out how to thaw out a water line and put that back together for her, and maybe figure out some insulation for it. Or some heat. Usually by the time we start getting these sub-zero temperatures, we've got some snow. And this is a double wide, so it's got skirting around it. Keeps the wind from blowing in there, but doesn't necessarily keep it warm enough to keep the pipes from freezing. And this one was feeding a toilet, so I gotta track it down. Fortunately, the toilet's against an outside wall, and I know I can get the skirting off right there because I've had it off before. It's where the access is, and see if I can see why it's froze. She did mention she's had problems with it in the past, so it might be something that's been going on forever. I've never looked at it before, so I don't know for sure. But get to do that. That's the outside part. So, but it's supposed to be 40 here on Tuesday and 35 on Wednesday, and Wednesday is the day that I'm working on it. Tuesday I'm supposed to help somebody move some furniture, one of the family members. They're moving out of their house and into an apartment, so they just want help with the big stuff. He's still pretty spry, so he thinks he can take care of all the little stuff himself, but wants help with his bed and the dressers and that kind of stuff, so we'll be doing that, which reminds me I gotta throw the furniture dollies in the truck. So we have those. Make moving some of that heavy stuff a little bit easier. Do you guys get voluntold for that stuff too? Voluntold? That's something that happens to me quite often. I get asked to help somebody, and yeah, it's family. You do what you can. So I think that ought to be pretty interesting. So I don't know what else to talk about here, because I didn't have anything really planned for some reason. Don't ask me why. Oh, I remember what I was going to talk about. I did have something planned, but I didn't get it ready. Too busy doing other stuff, I guess. I'm going to talk about cutting metal. And a lot of would like to be able to cut metal, and they just don't even have the basic understanding of where to start. So the place you start with is something as simple as a hacksaw. It's a very useful tool. It will cut metal. It's not really good for cutting sheet or plate, unless it's small stuff. Bigger stuff, you need bigger tools. But yeah, start out with a hacksaw. It does a pretty good job of getting you started cutting something. And then you can move into more power tools. There's evidently blades out there now. I think Diablo makes one, and I'm not sure who else, but that you can actually use your regular circular saw to cut metal. Now, of course, I have the Milwaukee metal cutting saw that you guys have seen on the channel before, and it does an excellent job as long as the blade's sharp. If you go back to the winch mount build, the trailer side of the winch mount build, I was struggling a little bit with it because the blade that's on there is dull. And I still haven't got a new one. I keep forgetting. But I haven't had to use it either. So there's that. So that's an option now. And of course, another option is a jigsaw with a metal cutting blade. You can cut some pretty hefty stuff with the right blade on a jigsaw. You just want to use some kind of lube and just take it slow. You can a metal cutting blade on a bimetal blade on a jigsaw, cut an awful lot of metal. Does a pretty good job of it too. And then of course you can work your way up into a grinder with a cutoff wheel, the sawzall with a metal cutting blade will do pretty good. I've got a rigid 18-volt portaband sitting over here that I don't use often, but it comes in handy when I've got to go out to the steel rack and cut a small section of steel off. Instead of hauling the whole thing into the shop and using one of the other saws to cut it, I can cut it on that. I use that to cut it. And it does a pretty good job of cutting everything up to, I think it's 2.5 inch straight cut, so like 2.5 inch by 2 inch square tube. Does a pretty good job on. I think that's about as big as the throat on it goes. You can also get a corded portaband, and they build or buy a stand for it and turn it into a vertical bandsaw. They work excellent. I see people use them all the time. Never used one myself, but it's available. And of course, I've got the Jepson dry cut saw, which you guys see in a ton of my videos, because it's my go-to for cutting everything that'll fit in it. Because it's got its downsides. I won't tell you it doesn't. It's loud. It throws hot chips everywhere. That's pretty much it for the downsides. Good sides is it makes excellent, clean, straight cuts, as long as it's adjusted properly, and it does cut a fairly large size material. Can't remember exactly what its limitations are, but it does a really good job of cutting stuff, and it cuts it fast. Now, everybody says that they should have a horizontal bandsaw, which I do. And that's a video that's going to be coming up. I'm going to have to fix it again because someone, I won't tell you who, tipped it over and broke it again. Honestly, wasn't that guy's fault. It was a complete accident. So, but that video will be coming out at some point here when I get time to do it. So that's also an option, is a horizontal bandsaw, and people love them because if they're tuned up right and you've got a good blade on them, they have a wide cutting range again, and they do a really good job. My issue is they're really slow, and when you're charging clients to do stuff, the dry cut saw is so much faster and so much more efficient with my time and clients' money. So that's why that's my go-to. And then, of course, you've all seen my big old 1950s Rockwell Delta vertical bandsaw that has the can't remember what it's called, but anyways, is it a Reeves drive? I think it's a Reeves drive. So you can adjust the speed down and up, and it's got 2 speeds, and so it's really good for cutting just about any metal with the proper blade on it, and you can speed it up and cut wood and plastics and everything else. You'll see me cutting plastic with it, with a metal cutting blade on it. Coming up in a future video, not too far out in the future. Oh. So I won't berate people into chatting, but it does work better if we all chat. Otherwise, it's just here, you're just watching me chat. I'm assuming that you guys are enjoying that because you're here watching. At least 2 of you are. So. Just check something here real quick. So we're just coming up on half an hour now. I'm going to cut it off there. And next Sunday, 7 p.m.,